Greetings, community. It's Kevin of Entropy Comics, and it's great to be here on Thursday. Yeah, been working a lot, and I've been keeping my ear really close to a lot of executives' rooms. One, I'm seeing what shows are coming up, and finding out, wow, live entertainment's going to be hitting hard really soon. Hey, La Cruces, how you doing, brother? I hope all is well with you. And So yeah, it looks like live entertainment's coming back really soon. Concerts. They're just trying to figure out all this stuff. I know the idea behind this is pop culture, so I will be getting to that. The idea also is what I'm doing is I'm keeping myself in check, and I think what I'm going to be doing every once in a while is audit myself. I want to keep myself honest, and I maybe ask of you, if that's what you like to do, is do so for me too, because what I'm getting at is the information that I give to you, as you may notice, I'm always choosing my words. I give it to you in a sense of almost privy to side information. So I release information to you when I can about certain things, things I can't tell. To my knowledge, I was the first individual to release this information only because I was probably privy to the information before most, like many. You can't drop information without possibly risking your livelihood. So I've been working in entertainment for well over 3 decades. So I have a lot of places. You would not believe how many offices are in Hollywood that all you have to do is just walk by and hear a neat little conversation. So when I can, I give these information tidbits to you. Smiling, it's great to see you. Hope all is well. Happy Thursday. What I'm getting at is this. I want to talk a little bit about, and I'll probably go backwards, about the information I've given to you. So far, I've only done a few of the spec news, a few of the I'd spec so, and the idea behind that is when I know about a certain thing that I believe to be hitting, or in the case of certain movies or certain information that I believe is going to be in development or so forth. So I give that to you when I can and as soon as I can. Like I said, without possibly Slim, brother. Hope all is well. Like I said, that's why I wait without losing my job. All right. Without further ado, and I know I've been beating this for about maybe 2 minutes, but I want to go ahead and go over some of the things that I've been speaking about so far on this channel. Now, as far as what I've been specking on, I haven't talked a whole lot about a DC, only because things that have been happening with DC and things that have been the restructuring and everything has been going on. I've heard of their 2-year thing, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this. And I know they're into it for a few months. So I'm not going to be releasing this type of information. What I'm getting at is I am seeing that they're developing some strong stuff. Thanks to James the Fourth. He's the one, Tyne is doing all this work, and he's doing great work. And he is reinvigorating individuals to gravitate towards the Batman stuff. So what I'm getting at with there, DC is doing things that I'm going to be getting back to, but between what they're doing with their structuring, their people, and what's happening with Diamond, wow. So like I said, I will circle back, I promise. Moving on. One of the things that I spoke about on this channel was Stray Dogs. The reason why I brought it up is I was making mention of that. It's going to be a strong title. It's going to come out hard, and people are going to be looking for it after which it dropped. That turned out to be true. Not many people really have been talking a whole lot about its spec on its option, but the idea about an option, and I've touched on this before, is just to lock in a particular place that they get the rights to develop it. And sole rights, essentially, that's what an option is people buy out sole rights to be able to develop a particular title. Usually that duration is anywhere from 3, 5, maybe as many as 9 years. Those are weird, odd numbers, but that's just the way things work out. And it can be as short as only 1 to 1.5, depending on the duration and how the things are set up. All right. What I'm getting at with that, there's a strong like of this title in Hollywood. And as much as everyone here is starting to get more money and more influx, the ability to how should I say, consider, I guess, the development, which, is a far stretch from anything else. It is something they're looking for probably by like title four. I mean, issue 4. Many times when you have anywhere from a 4 to 5 issue miniseries, it drops off so hard between that 4th and or 5th title that dictates exactly how strong a title will be. If a title can't retain the actual demographic and the reader of that particular same demographic, and it's not fluctuating throughout the read, then they know how solid that something could be considered as far as in development. Moving on. Kanto, like I said, I was one of the first people that I know of to drop the Kanto information. I knew I was able to hear certain things, and I was all kinds of giddy and happy. So the fact that what I believe is happening with that, and most people I don't think understand, is like I said, after the option aspect has been done and it is in full consideration for production, what goes on next is a lot of times the storyboard aspects, and that's where they're at now, would be my understanding, in the way things naturally evolve from the normal leaps to in production. So it sounds like to me both David and mostly Drew have a lot of control. So if Drew has the ability to work with the individuals that are actually storyboarding out, these pieces, this makes for a lot of control on behalf of both Drew and David, which will allow continuity from the book to be onto the actual film, more likely, which is, what I would imagine most people are hoping for when they fell in love with this title, is they want that continuity of what they had from the book to the screen, mostly for the way it affected a heart and the way how this story, is all about heart. I think that would possibly lost depending on who did it, or its way it to be told to the heart would be lost in the way it was told. I think just in its interpretation, if that makes sense. Moving on. Kanto's a great read. I can't agree more. And again, this is all things that you'll see if you go back in the history of all these videos that I've been dropping as far as spec news and I spec. So that's why I'm doing this video. It's basically me saying this is a progress report of everything I've been doing, and double checking what I've been doing, meaning everything I also spoke for so far, and everything I'll speak for and coming are also in every spec news and every spec so clip that I've put onto YouTube, along with the fact that every single one of these titles have retained their value, if not appreciated by a great deal. So that's the idea, is to say, how much of this progress have I done? You'll notice also that I'm not dropping dozens of titles every week. When I'm talking true spec, I'm talking true spec. I'm not talking a bunch of dozen of titles. I'm talking something usually both on long and or short term. Something that will either do a quick flip. And this is my terminology. It'll either have a quick flip or a long trip, or both. Something that will either be hot for right now and then cool off, and down the road be it picked up and then appreciate again in value. That's your long trip on the unappreciated value over the duration of time. And your quick flip is obvious. You're just thrashing it on the secondary market within the first 2 weeks. To me, that is your quick flip window. After that, things cool off so much within that first 2 weeks that you usually by then some new title drops by the 3rd week. It's just the way patterns happen. Moving on to Shadecraft. Now, Shadecraft is also a title that I was privy to the information that, knowing that it was going into an option with a possible production. The way things are going right now is it seems like we as a society and our entertainment are regressing, in the sense that we want these quick clips of stuff. And that's why also a lot of the channels, you'll notice it, everyone's doing these 1 to 3 minute clips. What that allows the individual to get is a high amount of reward. So what I'm getting at is anthologies and things of the like are coming back. So you're going to get things, much of your your Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, all this type of stuff, but it will be in the form of the stuff that you recognize now in your books. I'm not saying these are being options, like Ice Cream Man, haha, but in the case of what has Shadecraft, you're going to see a lot more production and things like that because it's easy for production companies, especially being that everyone's going to be scratching for space to go ahead and do production in Hollywood. There's not enough room. We're almost getting to a point like New York where we're building a lot of things up as far as even studios. CBS Television City is a good point of that. They're going to be spending a few $1 billion into the production to build up to make more studio space. Again, the fad is to do these quick type things because it's almost like using what people have been doing on YouTube. Hey, God Tank, how you doing, brother? But in a high production level, knowing that they can go ahead and get away with cheaper stuff because people have gotten used to YouTube, if that makes sense. The quality and art and all that, it's gone away with all the bean counters. Most of it's accountants trying to, seeing how much they can save and then at back end make. So that's kind of what I'm getting at as far as one, the fad, and two, why, getting back, you didn't think I'd drift. Shadecraft. Shadecraft is going to be that type of thing along with, and I'm going to get to it, Silvercoin, because of the fact that these are going to be type of stories that people are going to be digging as far as being able to get in and out. Silvercoin is a monkey paw style thing. People are going to be digging on that, and I always knew it. Shadecraft, it's all fit into the genre that you're probably noticing a lot of people are buying and buying off of a lot of either Source Point Press, which is really pretty horror gore related, or now Image because of the quantity of the talent that's been exodus from over of DC and Marvel over to Image is something that you'll see. Also, again, this is all about going to past videos and seeing what's been a trend, and they've been waiting, meaning these individuals, artists and creators, for the right moment, and I think this was the right moment for them. I don't think they plan on the pandemic. What I mean is how things were flowing in timeline. This is what they wanted to do. It was supposed to happen last year, but they want to release all these titles underneath Image, and that's why you're seeing all this mass influx of individuals of releasing killer fucking titles, Department of Truth, things like that, and that's why all these things are getting picked up and why all these things are hitting. It's what we want, and it's that's what's getting produced. So that's why I've been reporting what I know is being either in production or being an option directly to you, either before these things release, like in the case of Shadecraft, Stray Dogs, or when when they've already been released, which I've already knew that they'd be strong titles in the case of like Kanto, and then going into production in the pre and post storyboard style, which is probably where they're at now. This is all information I'm trying to give to you as soon as I can without getting myself busted. Moving on to Berserker. Berserker was also one of those things. And, when Keanu was hanging out here in Hollywood, and I was even being hit up by a few people out there in the community, how I was knowing so much information. He was frequenting over at like Golden Apple, and he was talking to a lot of people in here, Hollywood, lined up, all these meetings with Boom, trying to get all this shit coordinated with the fact that he was trying to get everything done on the production side. That took a lot of coordination between New York and Hollywood, and it was most advantageous for him to actually be here as in the launch and during the last 2 months of that time period, predominantly speaking. That's kind of how I end up knowing some of the shit is, shit flies around. No matter how much people try to throw a lockdown on shit, it's hard to throw a lockdown on shit. People are just floating in and out. It's not like they're gossiping. It's you're doing your job and people are trying to do other jobs and you're just crossing paths. So it's just the way it is. So I knew about certain things about, things going into production or, all that prior in which it did. I knew that they were going to do some voiceovers, especially when they dropped the teaser, which no one put 2 and 2 together on Instagram, Twitter, and all that other shit. Yeah, but here we are. I mean, this book has been, even though people have been saying, "Hey, man, this thing is at how many?" And I even said, well into, and they were trying to scratch and hit that 3/4 of a mil mark because they really wanted to bust the mill, but they knew they couldn't do it when they only were scratching slightly over 600 and they were getting close to FOC, that they wouldn't hit it. So they were trying to stretch it, and it didn't quite happen. However, that didn't mean that they weren't, pushing it. Hence, hey, cool gold foils that are hitting second print, huh? That hit second print. People jumped all over that shit. And those are the same people that are saying they weren't going to buy a bunch of books. I didn't buy one, but I got close. I ended up picking up all kinds of other stuff, but I just, I like some of the covers. Moving on. Before I end up showing books, Geiger. That is a book, along with Silver Coin and Shadecraft and a few of these other books, that I've been yelling, screaming that you got to get this book. You got to watch for this book. This is going to be the one that everyone's going to end up going, what the hell? I'm only hearing about this now, how everyone's digging it, and what? I can't get one? Yeah, unfortunately, you can for a price, unless you did be able to snag one and you're maybe listen to the show. It not only sold so well that it did go to second print even before the first was released, and it wouldn't surprise me if this is one of those fourth print type things that they just it really wouldn't, and that this I would see the second issue going into a second and or third print easily. When you guys see what happens by issue 4. The way this thing is ramping up, this is going to be a cool read. It shouldn't peter out. The way it ramps up, it should not peter out like a couple other things that most people had expectations for. I didn't buy a couple of these big name titles, like crossover. Every single crossover book that I got free. At a couple of shops, when you buy so many books, you can get a couple books free. You can just handpick shit. So I ended up handpicking it basically I didn't even read it. Just I gave out a couple, and I think I had them in some of the play in a box type stuff. So, hey, is going back over this list, Stray Dogs. I highly recommend not only reading that thing, but look forward to going production at some time. And if it doesn't, it wouldn't surprise me that they get hit up by some underground people and say, hey, maybe we can do something small on a small production, teaser stuff. I've seen people do some great work. And you know what? I'm going to wait until 5, 4, 3. Now, I've seen people on, especially motherfuckers, MFKZ. Highly recommend that. The reason why? More likely is going to end up dropping third week, June. It's another one of my big specs. I'm trying to go hard on that. If you can find the 1 in 5, which is the balls, those Mad Balls. It's a Mad Ball cover, or the 1 in 10, which is Garbage Pail Kids cover. You're going to love it. Because not only that speaks to us, but this is all LA based stuff. I think it's already on a Netflix thing. It's already a cartoon. What they're trying to do is what they did exactly with Agrasuko. What they're trying to do is take something that's already pre-existing as a cartoon and trying to get to the comic book people into that genre by bringing it as a comic. And when this thing drops, everyone's going to go nuts like Agrasuko that has never even heard of Agrasuko and try to get the book. You're going to see MFKZ, check it out. That was perfect. So moving on, I went from Stray Dogs to the Kanto production. You know how hot Kanto is. You know how hot. If you've ever watched me with the show that I do, 1-2 Comic Talk with my son, you know that's how we started that show, and that's what we've been talking about since day one. Shadecraft, you've heard, if you've been watching my channel, I've been talking about this a lot. Berserker blew everybody's mind how good it was, huh? No one wanted to buy a bunch of copies, but they did, and they loved it. And Geiger, if you didn't hear about it before, you definitely heard about it now, haven't you? And a couple of the Who Shot It looks exactly like a couple. You know what? I didn't put two and two together, but I will scrutinize actually that now because damn, that's mighty observant and awesome. So I'm gonna do this is just what I end up picking up today. It is not my pre-order, so that means that this is, even though you see what I got today, this is what I got today. I have a pre-order that matches stuff that that is what I would be receiving on this day. Unfortunately, due to popularity, I got allocated on the Geiger. Just copy A. So I ended up getting one over at a shop. I didn't want to kill anybody. They had a stack, but I knew that they're going for big money. But I was actually watching people just going through them, and one per customer, you know. So I got my one. Now I'm going to end up dropping this picture, and I greatly apologize if it's on the back, which I hope it is. Big shout out to, and yes, they are at Filthy Fandom. Now, I got kicked down this book. You can find these guys on YouTube at Filthy Fandom. If you say that I sent them, they'll be so confused. They have no idea who I am. Most people don't. But this thing was limited 500. See who's on this thing? This is one of my clear backing boards. Hey, Comic Clear backing boards. Comic Clear is a clear choice. If you mention my channel's name, nothing will happen. But you want to see what this is? Yeah, you want to see what this is? Yeah, limited 500, man. This is Undone by Bud, #1. It's from the second series. And this was kicked down to my shop, who in turn kicked down to me that knew it, I would appreciate it. And wow, man, this is some great work, guys. Out at Filthy Fandom is doing this work, and individuals like yourself, meaning speaking to you, God Tank, Michael, if you can go ahead and contact individuals like this, I highly recommend it because they're just developing. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So moving on. Like I said, I ended up picking up a Geiger. Now I do have a couple of blank covers coming to me. I even had a blank cover that I actually gave back. It's odd. I am an odd guy. Also because I do have a couple, like I said, blanks coming, along with 3 of the glow in the darks and 2 of another copy, you know. So I have stuff coming. I have, you know, I'll keep that cover A as my pristine one, and I'll have the other stuff I want to sell and or read and all that other stuff. So, which I've already read. So Silver Coin. Now this is the only cover I didn't get. I pre-ordered 3 of the A's and 1 of the C's, so I didn't have a B. And I love these black covers so much that I definitely picked up 2. I have a belief that this Silver Coin is going to be one of those ice cream man things. People are going to end up wanting it, mostly after which and they're realizing how much popular it was. Now, like I was mentioning before, you know, if you go and spend so much, they give you just free books, you know, just when you walk out. So, yeah, big old shout out to my LCS Comic Bug. So that was that one store folio. I end up getting 3 store folios full of books. And that was and this was my light week. Shout out to my wife, loving, understanding. Awesome. Don't divorce me. This is a one. I didn't actually do the clear backing, but you gotta love these 1 per stores. And this is a Magic the Gathering. If you haven't read it, it is highly adventuresome, and it's wild, and the art is really crisp. I'm loving this cover. Had to get one. So, and big fan of Noctera. It's another one of those that I was telling everybody it was going to be, you know, loved by everybody, and everyone's going to end up picking up. Being that Toxin's back, I end up picking up another cover. I have at least 1 coming. I have a belief that may go up, but it wasn't a huge spec. I don't, you know, it's just the fact that people might go, hey, when did Toxin come back? I want that one. This is a biggie. everyone was getting these, and I got a clean copy. So 106, 107 are going to be big ones. I know everyone's focusing on 108. People are going to realize how important 107 and 108 or 106 and 107 are. Too late afterwards, they've gone up. Okay, Titus. I hope you're doing well, sir. It's great to see you. So I end up definitely making sure that I end up getting a couple of the A's, a couple of the B's, and of course the 1 in 25, as you saw. So there's those guys. Speaking of the understanding wife, she just walked through the door. So, and this was the last. So, like I said, this was the 106. I do have this already, but being that they had such a great deal on it, and the 106 is a very important book. That's your first cameo. So when people are saying, much like with Punchline, is it Hell Risen or is it 89? Get them both. So that's what I've been doing is I've been hooking up on the 106s, which is like 3 of these. Gotta love the backs when it's a wraparound. Comic Clear, you guys rock. And yeah, I mean that was my haul for the day. That was my Spec News. That was me basically doing a progress report, keeping an audit on myself, and telling you and sharing with you what I am trying to do for the community as far as giving you guys information, how I'm giving you information as soon as I can give you the information. And I'm not, I never really want to give you a rumor. If anything, I'm trying to give you as solid information as I can give and as fast as I can. I'm not going to just give you a bunch of rumors or even tell you guys to go out and spend a bunch of money. You're seeing what I'm spending. You're seeing what's appreciating. You're hearing what I'm specking on, and I am showing you the physical books when I go out and buy it. So I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is, and it's not necessarily that I'm going out and trying to cash in on major on the secondary market. Is if I'm going to purchase something that I truly enjoy, I tend to kind of focus it also on something that won't really hurt me in the long run as far as, a hobby or whatever. If I can go ahead and flip something on the back end, make a couple of bucks, quick flip, long trip, I'll do it. I'm not usually a quick flip guy. Usually if I do flip something, I give that bonus plan to you guys. If you've seen the play in a box or even buy it your way that I've done once now with Z, we're handing out deals left and right. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep handing out information, deals, whatever I can for the community as often as I can. And I thank you. So for me, of Entropy, I'm out. You take care. Thanks much.